Hi everyone, Elder Gal here, aka Allison. I was out for a little walk and thought I would talk a little bit about how to reframe the holidays. Um, it's a good time for it. The holidays are coming up, both Thanksgiving and then the Christmas holidays. And I did a video about this about 2 years ago on the do's and don'ts for the holidays. And instead of redoing that, I'm just adding something to it, which is that it occurred to me that a really unique way of spending the holidays is to do something very different. It occurred to me I'd already done this for the holidays, and so I thought I'd reframe it in that way. It's really a type of disappearing, and let me explain that to you more in a second. So let's talk a little bit about what's so difficult about the holidays. Well, if you're alone and you don't have family, you're estranged, or your family has passed on, or you don't have really close friends to spend the holidays with, then you're alone. And trust me, I was alone for over a third of my life at Christmas, especially, and actually Thanksgiving, I guess, as well. I've basically been alone more than 20 years in my adult life, so I'm really a pro at this point. Some of which I talked about in that video I did a couple of years ago on this channel, and I'll link that at the end of this video. So the thing is, some things worked better than other things, but let's talk a little bit more about this concept of disappearing. It's been really popular online for the last 2-3 years, off and on, and I really find it interesting because we used to think of it as like a sabbatical or other names for it, but really it's about taking time out of a particular point in your life and just not being around a lot of people, maybe just your close family members or maybe one friend. And it's really about taking time for yourself. In other words, if you're trying to work on something health related, you basically, maybe take that time out to start eating right and exercising, and you don't really want to be around a lot of other people who are going to say, oh, what are you doing? And you have to share your daily progress or weekly progress with them. It's kind of a way to just work on this on your own without having any input from the outside world. And people do it for mental health reasons as well. If you're going through a tough time and you know that nobody else is really going to help that much, then you work on it yourself. Or maybe you work on it, if you're going to see a therapist, you work on it with the therapist or whatever you're doing. But you don't necessarily share that with the outside world. But it can also be that you're learning a new skill, or maybe starting a YouTube channel and you don't really want to tell people that you're doing it because, they'll say, oh, you'll never make it on YouTube, or, whatever they might say, and which will kind of discourage you. So you basically are kind of in your own creative bubble working on something. So there's many different reasons for doing this thing called disappearing. And so what I'm really suggesting here is that you do a version of that for the holidays. And I'll talk about that in a little bit as soon as I get home and get a little warm. So what did I do when I disappeared over the holidays one year? And again, this was years before I ever heard about the concept of disappearing. So I pretty much viewed it as a technology sabbatical. The whole purpose of it in my mind was to just kind of unplug from the outside world for a week and just, not engage. Now, of course, this is before I had a YouTube channel and all of that. And I also did not have cable TV. And I was on the internet a lot usually, but that week, what I did is between Christmas and New Year's, the rules were that I couldn't call anyone unless it was like an emergency. I also did not go out except to just go for a walk. I had bought everything I needed for food ahead of time, and I had enough food for the week, so I didn't need to go out for that. I did not, I was only on the internet to check my email once a day because I would get messages. I was teaching at that time, and even though it was between sessions, I would sometimes get emails from the school or whatever. So I had to check my email every day. So I would check my email, and but other than that, I was not on the internet. I was not watching YouTube. I basically read a book a day. I read a book a day, and they were all inspirational kind of self-help or spiritual books or something like that. I wasn't reading fiction. So I read a book a day, and I meditated. And I tried to eat well. I wasn't on a specific like food program that week or anything, but I basically was not trying to eat a lot of junk either. So I did that for a whole week, for 7 days, and I basically journaled about it and recorded, how I felt, what kind of emotions were coming up, if I felt calm, if I felt upset. And it was very eye opening for me because, first of all, it was during the holidays, even though technically I think I started it the day after Christmas. But you could do it before Christmas. You could do it at any other time of the year, actually. But I think it's particularly good during the holidays because it's a good time to just kind of unplug. If you don't have family to be with or close friends to be with, it is an amazing thing to do because it takes you out of the norm. You're not thinking about the typical holiday stuff. And if you pick the right books for yourself to read, you will be transported. It's amazing. So this is actually called like disappearing nowadays. I mean, that's what I've been watching a lot of videos about that. But yeah, it's for your own mental and or physical health, basically. And it works. It was amazing. I remember when I did it, and I've only done it like that dedicated for like one time, but I'm really thinking seriously about doing it here, maybe even at right after Christmas Day here, because I have a lot of things to do around the apartment and stuff, and I'd like to read, and there are things I'd like to do to kind of unplug. I think the one exception for me now is I would have to at least check in on my YouTube channel like once a day just to answer some comments or see what's going on. And but I might do it. Maybe I'll do it and end it on New Year's Eve day when I'm doing the live stream with you guys or something like that. So anyway, it's something for you to think about for the holidays, whether it's, like I said, maybe you want to do it in around Thanksgiving week instead of Christmas week or whatever, but pick a time. I think 1 week is a good amount of time to do it. And just go on a technology sabbatical. You basically disappear if you're not hearing news, you're not tuned in to all the latest stuff that's going on. You're not Don't talk to anyone. Let people know that you know in your life that you're going to be doing this so they know, that unless it's an emergency, you won't be calling them. I just think it's a wonderful thing to do. And I really am amazed that I haven't done it more. So it made me think about it when I was thinking about doing a video for this time of year because I'd already done the kind of do's and don'ts for the holidays. But I thought, you know what? This is a really good suggestion for people who are alone, who really want to reset, kind of reset, reframe, disappear, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a powerful thing to do. It's a wonderful thing to do just periodically in your life, whether it's once a year, maybe twice a year. You just take a week out and you just say, I'm going to detach from the outside world as much as possible. And especially if you're someone like me who's into meditation, it's wonderful because I was really able to spend some quality time meditating. I went out for a walk every day. It was really good, not only for my mental health, but my spiritual health and my physical health. So I highly recommend disappearing for the holidays. And I don't mean like going missing, okay? Just disappearing, just checking out. And like I said, if you do have anyone in your life and you feel like they would understand, then let them know you're going to do this so they don't worry about you. And because, you're not trying to worry people by doing this. It's a healthy kind of way of dealing with that time of the year, especially if that time of the year really triggers you emotionally. And for me, I think I've talked about this in other videos. Christmas was always the toughest time for me being alone because growing up and when I was young and my son was little, I always had people around at Christmas. So being alone at Christmas ended up being a real difficult thing for me for many years. But this one really does help. So you might think about doing a disappearing act for the holidays, resetting, reframing, whatever you want to call it, reinventing yourself, and focus on how, implementing healthy habits in some way, whatever it is you really want to work on. Maybe you don't want to unplug from technology, although I kind of advocate that one because the technology, all the information that we're bombarded with, does not help us. It really does. It kind of wears us down mentally and emotionally. So I recommend taking breaks from that once in a while. Anyway, I hope this helps. Until next time, be well, be kind, keep moving forward, and take care. Bye.